Well, this is Dan Roberts, and I'm going to share one of my favorite CIOs with you today in the form of a question. And it's a question that's on the minds of CIOs, IT leaders, and it's really all about how are you showing up? Have you thought about that? Have you asked yourself that question? How am I showing up today? How am I perceived by the different people that I interact with every day? And it's one of those questions that CIOs, CXOs everywhere are wrestling with because we need to figure out how we want to change the narrative. We want to figure out how we are in the meeting, not as an order taker, but in that first meeting, bringing a point of view and influencing at the table. As Ralph Lauren, who was recently on my Tech Whisperers podcast, would say, if you want to sit at the table, pull up a chair. Well, let me just share something with you that I think will be helpful. It's some research we've done. It's a framework. We did a year-long study with Babson College out of Boston. We had 130 CIOs participate. This is what resulted. It's called the maturity curve, which we can relate to very quickly. But think about this in terms of how am I showing up? Stage one of this maturity curve really talks about the IT supplier. This is all about keeping the lights on. This is all about really just business as usual, pipes and plumbing. Nothing wrong with it. We've got to be good here, solid here, consistent here every day, but we can't be sitting there on our laurels. Stage two, we start to move up the stack, right? We're in that solution provider here in this blue space. A solution provider is solving problems. They're engaging at a higher level. But what we find is that a solution provider is sitting in their comfort zone that says, tell us what you want and we'll go do it. Kind of that order taker mode. So we're showing up as an order taker, and that only gets us so far. Stage three, this opens up the world tremendously. This is us showing up as the strategic partner, the trusted advisor, right? We've done the work to build credibility, to build trust, to build relationships. Now we find ourselves in the first meeting of every new initiative, okay? And when we're in that meeting, guess what's happening? We're bringing in a point of view. We're in a place where we're influencing the conversation. We're able to steer things in a direction and ask a different question that everybody else in the room wouldn't think to ask. So think about the incredible difference between the value as a stage two order taker and that stage three strategic partner. And then we found in the research, fascinating, we thought it was an opportunity, but it's actually a responsibility when you talk to C-suite leaders for us to use our unique end-to-end view of the world. We see the business like nobody else does, right? We see the good, the bad, the ugly. So how do we leverage that? How do we pick our heads up and look out and say, how do we orchestrate a better customer client experience? How do we orchestrate a better patient student experience? How do we find ways to leverage the technology capabilities to disrupt an industry, to drive new revenue? Whole different conversation. So for those of us who like metrics, stage three, I mentioned, you get invited to the first meeting. Stage two, we get invited to the fifth meeting. We're an afterthought. We get brought in late. A lot of decisions are made. We have very little opportunity at that point to influence the conversation into a better direction. And if it is, we're clawing and scratching and trying to push on a situation when no one wants to hear about it. Stage one, we never know there's a meeting. This thing's going on all around us all the time. We're just not in the loop. Now, stage four changes the narrative. This is our meeting. We're now leading the meeting. We are bringing that innovative anticipator mindset and skill set and ability to create new opportunities for the companies. So just a quick framework. It's something that we hope that you can use with your team, help your team think about how they show up, and also with your different constituents out there in terms of the journey you're on. Because the journey, as you know, is all about knowing where am I today, where do I need to be, and how do I get there? And I'll leave you with this story. If you remember it, I'm old, I've been around a long time. JFK was touring NASA in Houston. And as the story goes, he veers off to go speak to this gentleman on the side who happens to be a janitor. And he says to this gentleman, "Sir, what do you do here at NASA?" And this janitor looked him in the eye and he said, "Mr. President, I am helping send a man to the moon." So think about how that gentleman showed up every day. Think about how he saw his value and as it tied into the mission, the end goal. So have those conversations with your team. Look yourself in the mirror. How am I showing up? Hope this has been helpful. Keep tuning in. More CIOisms coming your way soon.
Hey there, I'm Ryan Becker, and I'm on the production team for the Inspiring IT Leaders video series. If you like this video, make sure to leave a thumbs up to help us grow, and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this. Also, be sure to check out the Tech Whisperers podcast, where we take a peek inside the playbooks of the best digital leaders so that we can help you grow your career in tech leadership. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.